When working with AI models, it can be tricky to get consistent and reliable outputs. But if you're working with openAI models, there is a little tip that's useful to know, and that is structured outputs. So let me show you with a quick example. So we're here in the TypeScript program. We set up the client. I have my API key in my shell, but you should put your API key if you don't do that. And then we're gonna try to extract some information from a user that gives us a profile. So, hi, I'm Jane Smith, a software developer from Seattle. I've been coding for 5 years, mainly in JavaScript and Python. You can reach me at this email, and the GitHub handle is this. So we want to extract this information. Without structured outputs, if we just ask the AI model to extract the information and then put it in a separate line, so put each of name, email, years of experience, and programming languages, we might get inconsistent outputs. And so we're going to try to see that we're going to do this request 3 times, and we're going to see what it gives us. So I'm using Dino, which is just a runtime like node. So Dino unstructured.ts. We're going to allow environmental variables and net access. And then we have the outputs. So in the first attempt, everything seems to look fine. However, there's always these small issues. So for example, years of experience, you see it's returning 5 years, and then the second time it's just returning 5. So you'd have to, in your application, parse this and make sure you get the right information from the strings. And it can be quite cumbersome over time and annoying to think about all these small matters. But OpenAI, since July and August, have structured outputs in their models. This means that you can provide a schema or how your output should look like, and then the model will consistently return those outputs. So let's see how this works. To do that, we use the Zod library. It's a handy library when working in TypeScript to validate data. And we use this object called Zod response format from OpenAI SDK. So we first initiate the client like before, but here we set up this schema. So you see we describe the full name, it's a string, and we describe what it is. The description is rather important because the model basically will use that to understand what this is if there is ambiguity. So it's advisable to always use describe for each of the data items. So there we have location, years of experience, it's a number. Programming languages, we say it can be a list, an array of strings, then email and GitHub username. And then in the prompt, we can have a pretty basic prompt which just says extract user profile information into a structured format, ensure all fields match the specified schema. And like before, we're going to run this 3 times. The difference is, watch out, the client to use here is openai.beta.chat and not openai.chat. So the beta has this structured output format. And the important part is that we pass this field response format. It's that Zod response format, the user profile we defined up here, user profile, and we just give it a name. And then we can get the output parsed from those calls. So let's do these 3 calls and see if we get consistent outputs. So we get Dino structure.ts. We allow all of that. And let's see, we got our 3 replies. And so we get attempt 1. It looks good. Attempt 2, same. You see that 5 is easily dealt with. It's a number. You don't need to parse anything. And basically you have data that's very much usable in your application. So I hope that was helpful. Happy building.